hear the sound razor-sharp adamantium claws make when they extract their revenge. They're here. Marvel's X-Men on SEGA Genesis.
System to game, sold separately.
Hey guys, Noel here, and I thought it would be fun to do a video for the YouTube channel of the Take-Two variety, doing a video game review, checking out the codes on my first video game I ever owned, X-Men. So this video game came out in 1993, and I got this video game as I was going into 4th grade with the SEGA Genesis core system, and really happy memories of playing this game, good times, friends lying to me about characters you can't be, and so on and so forth. And the heartwarming story of how I got this game was, while my mom was putting herself through teaching school, I took care of myself over the summer and watched the Tracy Ullman Show and daytime judge shows, and ate all kinds of food that a kid who stays home alone would eat. And my reward for being so responsible was this game. So now, incidentally, this game has some interesting codes on it that I want to show you for this video and test out on the ATgames SEGA Genesis game console, because it is not official SEGA hardware, and there are weird things about this game that, you know, you actually have to use the SEGA hardware for. So I was wondering how this would transfer over to the ATgames SEGA Genesis, because there's all kinds of things about this game that break the fourth wall and require you to do things outside of the world of the video game cartridge, which is kind of interesting because the theme of this game is Magneto uses the Danger Room. He hacks the Danger Room computer to make it actually dangerous. So you're there's like layers of simulated reality both in this game and outside of this game that you'll see as we play this game. So first off, let's start off with the level select, because this code always came in handy for me growing up. I don't think I've ever actually beaten this game without the level select, so to be perfectly honest. So to do that, and this used to confuse me when I was younger, you hold A and C and down together, down the direction, comma, A and C, and then you're going to turn your video game console on. Then what you're going to do is you are going to wait until the title screen tells you to press start. Then you're going to press start, you're going to hold start, and you're not going to let it go until you select your difficulty. And then once you do that, in the Danger Room, you're going to walk to the right. You're going to see 8 little columns. Those represent the 8 levels of the game. You're going to hit down and C, and then you're going to jump to the level of the game. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to test out another thing. In addition to level select, it's going to be Mojo's time crunch, and we'll see if we can actually do the breaking the fourth wall thing we have to do in order to beat this level. And will this work on an ATgames SEGA Genesis? Let's actually check this out and try to find this out. So, first thing we're going to have to do is turn the game off and line things up here. Hopefully I do not die, but we'll see what happens. So we'll do a little bit of a let's play and code testing. Here's our controller. We're going to hit down, A and C, and we're going to make sure that we hold these things while we turn the ATgames SEGA Genesis on. Okay, tell me to hit start. There's start. Still holding it. And now I can let this go. I'm going to hit amateur. You can use this in later levels of the game. If you play this game without using the level select code, you cannot get past Excalibur's Lighthouse. But what amateur does is it basically makes it so you take a little less damage, which comes in really helpful, actually. So we can be Cyclops, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and Gambit. Each one of these characters has different abilities that lend themselves well to the different levels of this game. So, while I would love to be Wolverine, we're going to be Cyclops because he has a high jump. And that's going to help us out in this level. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hit down and C. Now we're in Mojo's time crunch. The end of time, can't stand around. Better find the way to defeat this program before time runs out. So let's be careful and get through this level here. If you have other ATgames SEGA Genesis game consoles, those, actually with the exception of this one, which is really stupid, they include Shakan the Forever Man, which is another comic book game made by Sega of America, which plays very similar to this game. And the friend of the author of Shakan the Forever Man told me that these games had the same development team. They used the same engine to make this game. So he told me at the comic convention I was drawing at. Maybe I'll actually, for the channel, show you some footage of the upcoming convention, April 7th, at Heroes and Villains, which is a really good comic shop in Cortland, New York. You should really go there. I love that place. Out of mutant power, so I gotta be careful here. Oof. I don't think I'm gonna fight Mojo with Cyclops, but I'm still gonna get that extra health. I'm gonna fight him with Nightcrawler, because Nightcrawler's got a good diagonal jump. I'm gonna get Storm ready, the helper character here. Come on. So just kind of doing this pattern here of jumping behind Mojo and having him get Rogue ready here. Almost got him. I'm gonna get Archangel ready. Yeah, didn't even need Archangel. Yeah, growing up, my friends insisted that you could play as the helper X-Men characters in this game, and I had this habit, being an only child, of calling like wrestling hotlines and video game hotlines, asking them like the same questions I wanted to be true but weren't true. Like, is Reptile playable in Mortal Kombat 1, and can I be Archangel and X-Men and this and that, and they kept telling me no, but I just kept holding out hope that I'd get a different answer sometime, and I never did. So, I probably should have gone and tried to get some extra health. Actually, no, here's the, oh shoot, this is, that's mutant power. There is some health up here. Actually, I'm getting kind of low on health, so I think I'm gonna actually go up here. Okay, I'm at the end of the level here. Now here's gonna be the situation here. Once I destroy this computer, Professor X is gonna be on here yelling at me to do something here. And I'm just gonna start banging my head against the wall, literally, because there's no place for me to go. I can't teleport, can't do anything, I'm just stuck here. So my options are to reset the game, or beat my SEGA Genesis with a surgical 2x4, because I have no options here other than to be frustrated. So, because I don't want to beat my SEGA Genesis with a surgical 2x4, the fine people who made this game figured out that the players would, rather than break their SEGA Genesis out of frustration or turn it off in disgust, hit reset. Because that's what I have to do. I have to hit reset. I have to do a hard reset to get out of this level. Now, the question is will this work on an ATgames SEGA Genesis? I don't know. The other reason, if you actually let this time run out to the bottom, Professor X will scream at you to reset the computer. It'll say, reset the computer now, but I don't know what he's talking about. He's actually telling you to reset your SEGA Genesis in a very cryptic way. But I mean, it's on the one hand a really clever thing that the developers of this game did. On the other hand, it's like, I don't know. I would never think to actually do this just normally. But let's actually see what happens when we hit reset on this. and it resets the actual game, which means that you cannot beat this game playing straight through. Now, if you do want to beat this game on the ATgames SEGA Genesis, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do the level select code, and you're going to just have to jump to Magneto's level. That's going to be what you're going to have to do, and I'll show you that right now. Now, the thing is also is that when you beat Mojo's level, the one I just showed you, you get a very cool comic book cutscene. Well, first, the actual TV screen fills up with binary code, and then you get a 16-bit comic book page that plays itself out to show how you're like not trapped in the danger room anymore, and now you're going to go after Magneto and this and that. So it's really cool, but so you don't get to see that scene if you're playing this on an ATgames SEGA Genesis. So yeah. So what I think I'll do now is I'll show you guys, you know, how this would actually work playing this on a real piece of Sega hardware, the SEGA CDX. We can also test this out on we can also test this out on the high definition ATgames SEGA Genesis, but that doesn't even have a reset button, so I think we're only going to have problems as far as that goes. But I'll show you anyway. Okay, so I'll see you guys shortly. Okay, guys, so here we are playing on the SEGA CDX, and we are right back to our normal spot at the end of the level of Mojo's Time Crunch. So let's hit the reset button and see what happens. Turn the volume up. And here we have it. Back in the non-holographic world at Professor X's School for Gifted Youngsters. And it just kind of plays out like this. We get this nice long cutscene here. You see, Nightcrawler and Forge, the computer has pinpointed Asteroid M as the signal's origin. That's Magneto's fortress in space. And we see Psylocke and Beast, who aren't in the game, and it's going to be difficult, but we have to prevent this from happening again, so we have to go to get the missing codes. I actually really like the 16-bit, the idea of a 16-bit X-Men comic. Sometimes you have to crush your enemies where they live, which is Magneto's opening line at the start of the game. And the art style here is pretty indicative of like you know, kind of an average but very talented comic book artist using Jim Lee's style here. There's Beast. All aboard. Next stop, Asteroid M. And there's actually the whole comic page. Okay, so now let's test this out on actual ATgames HD SEGA Genesis, and we'll see what happens. Okay guys, so we are back in the land of the living, and we're ready to test X-Men on the ATgames High Definition SEGA Genesis. If this code doesn't work, I want to try something else. I'm going to try another code for the game that's called a level skip code. You can use with Gambit by jumping into the danger room and holding A, and you can skip 3 levels doing this. So if the level select code doesn't work on the ATgames SEGA Genesis, maybe we can try this level skip code and see if that'll work. So right here, we've got the ATgames SEGA with the X-Men plugged in. We'll set up our camera. We will get our controller. We will hold down A and C. We will turn on the console and wait for ATgames to come on. This is going to be weird because the way that this ATgames HD works is it makes a ROM off of the cartridge. So we'll see what happens here. The other thing that makes me a little worried is C is a toggle button, but I'm going to just hit start right now. Hit start, hold start. There's Magneto. There's our options screen, so we'll let this go. And okay, this is not good because you're not supposed to have two controllers in this in order for this code to work. I only have one controller in, but for some reason this game is making it so that there's a controller 2. So that's not good. We'll choose Gambit. We'll go over to our columns here. And yeah, I can't, nothing's working here. I'm hitting down and holding C, which if I didn't tell you, that's how you actually go into each different level. You have to hold down and hit C. So if I didn't tell you that earlier, sorry about that. Let's try this level skip code though. Okay, so you hold down A and then the screen should go black. But right now it says gray, and now we have this really beautiful cyberpunk snowstorm on the screen right now that is now just totally frozen the ATgames SEGA Genesis. So just in time for the actual snowstorm that's supposed to come tonight. So there you have it, guys. You cannot actually you can't even beat X-Men on the ATgames SEGA Genesis, because once you get to Mojo, you can't reset the system. There's no reset button on this thing. The reset button on the system is actually a menu button, and when you use the menu screen, there's no reset option on it. So at least I don't think there's a reset option on it. Let me double check. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but I've got on the menu screen save game, load game, more save game slots, quick game, resume current game, and scan line filter. So I don't know if you can actually see any of this, but there is no reset on here. So yeah. So if you want to beat X-Men from start to finish, you have to play it on an actual Sega system. If you want to beat X-Men on an ATgames system, it's got to be a low-def system, and you got to do the level select code. So that's it. It's been fun, guys, reviewing this game with you, doing some codes, and doing some gameplay. And until next time, guys, my name's Noel. You all take care, and I will see you all in the future on the channel. Bye-bye.
Introducing X-Men Projectors, where you project X-Men action scenes from the TV show right on your own walls. Put the action disc inside Wolverine, then throw the picture onto your wall. You control the action.
Uh-oh, Sabretooth! Yeah.
Make it small or big.
Cool!
Get in the picture yourself. X-Men action right on your walls and ceiling. Then change discs for more amazing action.
Gotcha!
X-Men Projectors, each sold separately with 3 discs apiece, batteries not included.